Well, for the last month or so, we've been asking you to send us your parenting questions as we seek to help you connect with your kids and help them manage their thoughts and feelings, and frankly, help ourselves do the same thing. So today, Tania Johnson and Tammy Shamoon, the founders of the Institute of Child Psychology, are here to offer some help. So thank you so much for both of you coming back in. Very interesting to get the questions in. So Tammy, let's start with you. We had this one come in from Amy. She says, my kids are 3 and 5. They fight all the time. I don't like to intervene because I think they should learn to sort it out themselves. But will this fighting ever end?
Okay, so sibling fighting, completely normal. And I agree to an extent of like letting your kids work it out. We don't want to rescue our kids all the time, right? But I would say to have a zero tolerance policy towards unkindness. So the second they start physically hurting each other or using really nasty words, that's when we have to intervene, separate, put them in their own corner, so to speak. And that's where we're going to use like some problem solving and co-regulation and like name their feelings and making sure we hear kind of both sides of it. That's the point where we kind of do that piece with the kids, right? Because nothing gets worked out when we're worked up. That's my motto with kids with siblings. Now, the number one thing I want to tell parents who are listening is when siblings are fighting a lot, like cats and dogs are fighting, chances are they're perceiving something is unfair or their emotional cups are empty. So we have to kind of say, our kids are excellent observers but poor interpreters. So do they kind of feel that one kiddo's getting more attention and connection than the other one? Maybe, one kid's been sick or they're colicky or something. So we just have to say, are our kids perceiving our interactions as being more favorable towards one sibling more than the other? Even if we don't mean to, they may be interpreting in that way, and that's why they're fighting so much. So just to do some problem solving around that and having a conversation with your kids if things feel unfair.
Sure. Okay, so there is a point where you can step in there and then kind of help them get to the sides. That makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, Tania, let's take this one from Julie. She says, when my sons come home from school, all they want to do is go on their iPads, play Fortnite. How can I get them outside without being a mean mom?
Oh, I think this is a struggle that many parents have right now. So I think the issue that I often see with kids that come into clinics is that they feel as if the spotlight is just on their tech use. And what they'll often say to me is, what about mom? What about dad? This isn't fair. Yeah. So when we get on the same team as our kids and we sit down and we say, okay, let's talk about everybody's tech use here. Let's talk about mom's tech use. Let's talk about dad's tech use, tech use. Let's talk about the family's tech use. It changes the conversation altogether because now we're a team, we're together. And then we start having these conversations. So what are our rules? Where do we use tech? When do we use tech? How do we use tech together? And everybody might have different parameters, but really getting something like a family media plan where we write it down, we all agree to it, and then we hold each other accountable is huge. At the Institute, if people are interested, we actually have a family media plan which walks parents through this conversation with their kids so they can contact us if they want that family media plan. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing that I often like to explain to kids when they come in for therapy is we want to think of it almost like a jar. We have our sand, which is the things that we like to do, like watch Netflix, play Fortnite. Then we have our little pebbles, which are the things that we have to do, like appointments, homework. And then we have our big rocks, which are the important things in the world, like sleep, like movement, like relationships. First, we put the sand in the jar, and we say if we fill up that jar with all of the sand, like lots of Netflix, there's no space for the important things that help us to grow. We dump the sand out, and then we put the rocks in, and we say we always put the rocks first. Sleep, movement, nutrition, relationships, that's what helps us to grow. Then we put the pebbles in, and we say these are the extra things that help us to learn. And if there's space, then we put the sprinkle of sand on the top. And kids love it. They really get it when I explain it to them that way.
Okay. Those are great answers. We have plenty of other questions. I know Wanda is very curious about hers that she texted in on Friday. We've just run out of time, so we're going to have to do this again.
It's a deal.
Aren't we? There are plenty of parent questions out there, and we have the answers. Thanks so much for coming in again this morning. So if you have questions for Tania and Tammy, you can text us at 10400, and you can learn more about their parenting handbook by visiting instituteofchildpsychology.com. A lot of different resources available. So thank you again for both of you coming in.